SKILLET Sports presents...
What's up, baby? How you feeling?
Hey, Jay, let's get ready to do this like it should. Oh, my God. He is having a cough vid. We got to start the show right now.
You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
What's going on, everyone? You know who it is. You know what it is. It's The Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. We are the talk of the 219. We are the hottest talk in the 219, bringing you the hottest information. So, first of all, let's check in on Jay Sizzle. Jay, are you okay?
Man, I'm over here sounding like Scatman Crothers, like I just smoked started my 15-pack of Marlboros for the day, Camels with no filters. Dude, I don't know what's going on. I just went to talk, and my voice said no. So,
It's crazy. It's crazy. Those Camels with no filters, they always come back to get you in the end.
I had an aunt that smoked them, man. Remember, I don't know about you, we used to try to steal them when we were like 12. Try to steal the cigarettes, and then my aunties called us, and then she made us smoke a whole pack of Camels.
Here's the thing: they knew how many were in the pack, and they counted, and we just were too silly to count.
You were just stupid. You know what I'm saying? We're out there trying. We don't know. You didn't get green face. You're just gonna sit there and just smoke, just hot boxing Camels at the kitchen table with your auntie sit over there with some Johnny Black Label. Watch you smoke another one, It
reminds me of the Cleveland Browns defense. So once they started hotboxing themselves, so let's talk about it for a minute. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson. Okay, there's no crap that you're going to be taking from Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson ain't taking no crap. Ain't gonna be no crap on his watch.
That's what they said on Twitter. They said,
I'm just saying, man.
We all seen that run before. We all know what that run was.
Everybody knows that run, so just live with it.
If you get cramps on the sidelines, usually they're giving you a Gatorade bottle and they stretching you out. They wasn't doing none of that. They was running behind it with some KO Pectate and some underalls. They were like, he's putting some diapers on, like trying to get out. Like, I'm about to hope these pants ain't white. That's what it was.
I couldn't fathom. But I mean, if you've played, you have to play, and however it goes. I mean, that's how it goes. But let's talk about Lamar Jackson in a performance where the Ravens won 47-42 over Cleveland in what is being titled the comeback game of all time. Now, I didn't know he was injured. When you have a tummy rumbling, that just is a tummy rumbling.
Yeah.
But he went out and he won the game. Really, the kicker iced the game. But the question is here. The question is truly here. How does Cleveland allow Lamar Jackson to set an NFL record on them with nearly 200 yards rushing?
Look, man, they couldn't stop Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is the best running quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, he was doing some, and I'm going to tell you, he even have on the right cleats. He was cutting and slipping all over the place, and Lamar Jackson is amazing running the football. If he could just throw the ball competently, he would be the best quarterback in football. But that guy is just so fast, and there's nothing up. You try to contain him on the outside, he's going to slip inside on you. So he's just one of those guys, but he's just fantastic. Some of the runs he was making first quarter into the second quarter, just amazing stuff that he was doing. And, this is a guy, how are you going to stop that guy? Unless he's throwing the ball into double or triple coverage, which he's known to do. But, you don't have a spy fast enough to stay in front of him. If he takes off, he's just going to outrun the spy.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the fact that he only passed for 163 yards.
Yeah.
He was 11 out of 17, but it wasn't that he was lighting up the world through the air with his arms. It was literally the fact that you had a defense with a battered offensive line for the Ravens. They still don't have any weapons. They have no run game. He is it, and you still let him rush for 200 yards. How can you call yourself an NFL defense? And this was a great game. This was a great game? Is that a great game?
He's too quick. He's just too quick. And when he's in space, if they go 5 wide and he's in space, he's hard to stop in space. That guy can change gears like anybody I've ever seen. He's got elite wide receiver speed playing. You know, he is the ultimate what do you call him? Wildcat back. He's the ultimate wildcat. Like he's like we put in your wide receiver and put him at quarterback, and he played a little quarterback in high school where he could throw it a little bit. That's Lamar Jackson on steroids. He's that guy on steroids. He just how do you defend against a guy who can actually throw the ball pretty well, but you have to keep somebody home to spy on him. He's very difficult to defend.
He is. So if you just allow me, indulge me just for a second, Jay.
I'm going to indulge you now.
Okay, please. I appreciate the indulgence. If you would you go back with me? Can we go back in the Wayback Machine?
Where we going?
Go back? Oh, we're going to go back into time. We're going to do some things. I'm going to tell you a story. But before I tell you the story,
it's story time, Uncle Greggy.
Oh, story time. It's story time with G Siggle. Whoa, you're going to like it. You're going to like it.
You like that? Like that?
Okay, so let's go back in time. 2018. Yeah. There was a draft.
Yeah.
NFL draft.
Do we have to go there?
We do. There's a young man from Florida, but he played at Louisville. He was in the draft.
Yeah.
He was a young man that you questioned what he was really going to be. You know, they tried to move him to cornerback, safety, receiver, running back.
On a sidebar, though, those Louisville helmets were nice.
Oh, that Louisville outfit,
that red with the sparkles going on, the highlights.
Boy,
that red helmet
thing, that was nice. So this guy, okay, let's just talk about this time. This guy was the 2-time ACC Player of the Year in 16 and 17.
Yeah,
he was the 2-time ACC Offensive Player of the Year, and in 2018 he was the ACC Athlete of the Year. But I digress.
Oh,
so there's a draft, and in this draft, there's a certain team named the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And they had an interesting draft position because they were high enough on this totem pole to make some selections here.
Yeah.
But they had already come to the decision that their historic quarterback, the person that was going to lead them out of the doldrums of beardomness, was on their roster. So the Bears, I believe at number 7, picked Roquan Smith.
And he's been a fine player for the Chicago Bears.
Fine player. No debate there. But as you go further down the draft, the Ravens had an opportunity to draft a tight end or running back. They were in that range where they could just get the best player involved. So they went out and they actually got a player. But then they did something weird. And, it's strange. In this story, you don't hear these things. They traded back into the first round.
Yeah.
And in trading back into the first round, they were able to pick up this guy who was, he had awards and he won some stuff in the ACC. But he just ran around. He just ran around.
But can't we just say, though, that there were a lot of teams that passed up on this guy?
There were. But for emphasis of my story, so that it sounds more impactful, we're going to focus in specifically on the Bears.
So this is just a hate stomp of the Bears right now.
Well, let's see. The Ravens aren't looking for a new quarterback, but I know a team next year that will be looking for.
I don't know. I don't know. You might see Mitchell Trubisky re-sign with this Chicago Bears team. I wouldn't be surprised right now. I think they're going to cut Nagy loose. I think they're going to cut Pace loose. They might even get a little bit higher up on the run, but it's very possible that you might see Mitchell Trubisky, old number 10, lined up for the Chicago Bears next year. I would not be surprised about that.
Yeah. In this story, though.
I'm sorry, this story. Back to the fantasy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In this story.
Is there a warlock in this and a magical ring we got to get from an elf or something like
it
that?
sounds like it. It should have been something, and there was some little evil person in a cave, and you had to go and find the lords of other rings, because the Ravens were fortunate enough, they drafted in a pick where at 32, they were able to get a Heisman winner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he turned into an NFL MVP.
MVP, most valuable player.
The only thing that may have been better before him was Sony Michel that went to the Patriots.
I had him in my fantasy a lot. He was hurt a lot, though.
He's been hurt a lot.
And checked his knee up.
You had Rashad Penny, who went 27 to the Seahawks. People thought he was going to be really good. You had Calvin Ridley, who went at 26 to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But right before that, because it's funny, the Ravens could have done a couple of things. At that point, they had the 25th pick where they selected Hayden Hurst. And even though Hayden Hurst has only made 2 starts.
I was about to say, I haven't heard too much for that Hurst fella.
He's made 2 starts since his rookie campaign.
Yeah.
His production's up a little bit this year, but he's still not who it was. So you can say you missed out. You missed out on Calvin Ridley, who went the pick after you, in getting a Hayden Hurst, which you probably could have gotten in the second round. But to get back in and get a franchise quarterback.
But, I mean, who knew he was going to be a franchise quarterback?
Well, obviously the Ravens did, my friend, because they went and got him.
Well, but the Ravens were in a better situation, though. Do you think he would be as good of a player as he is right now if he went to, say, the Cleveland Browns back in those times? Or if he went somewhere where the team was sort of decimated and was picking, you know what I'm saying? If he went early in the draft, will we still see Lamar Jackson being able, or is he just really able to play on a really good ball club with a decent offensive line out in front of him, and he's able to do what he's able to do?
Well, maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe it's always about finding the right position, getting placed in that right position where you can showcase your talents. To your point earlier, I do think Mitchell Trubisky is in a good position with the Bears. And I'll tell you why. Okay. Because the Bears, in this hodgepodge of what they put together offensively, they focused everything on defense, but they actually put a line together and they put things in place for a Mitchell Trubisky. Now, you'll say, how is that possible? Yeah. Well, you put all these little pieces together because you thought you really thought he was going to be your Lamar Jackson. That's what you were thinking.
No, I don't think so. I think they thought he was going to be Aaron Rodgers. I really thought seriously. I think the Bears thought he was going to be Aaron Rodgers. Because if you look at his skill set, he's mobile, he's strong, he can throw the football. And I really think they thought the Bears, look, they said, our analytics say that this guy has all the numbers that we want, and that he's going to develop into this great quarterback that we're going to get, and we're going to look like football gurus. Because we went and found this guy. Where did he go to? Kentucky, Louisville? What school did he go to?
Why do you North Carolina? He went to North Carolina. He went to Mike's alma mater.
Because what other great North Carolina football player can you name right now?
Oh, a whole.
None of them. Right. I mean, I'm sure there's some guys who played in the league and did well, but I just can't call off any right off the top of my head. So here's this guy who only had 14 starts.
Didn't Julius Peppers go to North Carolina? Wasn't he at Julius Peppers? No,
Pep didn't go to North Carolina, did he?
I'm sorry. I was thinking Carolina Panthers. Okay, it's the blue. It was all kind of the same.
Don't do it. But anyway, So I think you looked at a situation where you didn't know what Lamar Jackson was going to be. We all thought Lamar Jackson. Anybody out there right now saying they knew Lamar Jackson was going to be like this at the quarterback is no. They don't. They didn't have an idea. They thought Lamar Jackson was going to come in here and play wide receiver or something like that, or maybe they was going to flip him to a DB. He was the only one who really believed that he was going to be able to play quarterback, and the Ravens took a flyer on him. But Mitchell Trubisky, the Bears moved up a whole spot, gave up some people so that they could go up and get this guy because he was their franchise logo. That they were going to put a plaster his face all up and down the Miracle Mile. That he was going to be coming home, riding home, when they win the championship, and he was going to go down there with the snow falling, confetti falling, and they had this defense, and that's what the plan was. And nope, that didn't happen.
Well, to your point, and I say he was their Lamar Jackson because in your greatest hope and imagination and dreams, you wish that your Mitchell Trubisky would be an MVP player right now, carried you into the playoffs. He, along with a devastating defense, was able to ride you all the way to the NFC title game. And then even if he didn't win, he was going to be great enough to get you there again. Yeah. But there were a few things missing, like you didn't have a competent offensive coordinator, no run game. Your line sucked after Long got hurt.
They brought in Matt Nagy. That's what they brought in Matt Nagy for.
Oh, okay.
Even though Trubisky was not his pick, but they brought Matt Nagy in to fix Mitchell Trubisky. They brought him in saying, hey, this wasn't my pick, but you are the offensive guru. I'm going to give you this kid with all his talent, and now you're going to go out here and you're going to make it work. And he found out really quick that Mitchell Trubisky couldn't read past the second read. He couldn't read past that.
Now,
so,
if I'm correct, didn't John Fox have the same problem? Well, when John Fox was their coach, he didn't even know that Trubisky was going to be drafted.
John Fox got rid of was it Robbie Gould, and he got rid of the tight end and went down there to play in
Greg Olsen.
Got rid of Greg Olsen, who went down and had a pretty good career past the Bears right now because his offensive scheme didn't use a H-back type tight end. He wanted a big burly guy that was going to block, and so. I want. You know what? I sound like John Fox right now. That guy's vocal cords were shot.
Yeah, it was. That's all that screaming and hollering and all that wondering what you were going to do at party time because he was a party guy. You see some old pictures of John Fox. He was a party guy.
Was he hanging out with Tommy? Was it Tommy Lasorda? No, that's Tommy Lasorda. Who's that for the White Sox right now?
Oh, Tommy Lasorda. Yeah,
Tommy Lasorda. I get him mixed up. Tommy Lasorda was with the.
It doesn't matter. They're all the same age. It doesn't matter.
Tommy Lasorda was with the out there in California, wasn't he?
Yeah, with the A's, with LA, with the Dodgers.
With the Dodgers, yeah. So, anyway,
my thought is, and this is something Dan Orlovsky from ESPN said that this was one of the greatest games. This great game was actually better than all of his MVP season. This one game showed you his specialness, his significance.
He could run.
Was everything.
He was running all over the place. There's no doubt about that. And the mere fact that they were in that bunch formation, that last play when he scored the touchdown, they were in that bunch formation. And the defensive back, for whatever reason, was so afraid that Lamar Jackson was going to put the move on that linebacker that he was getting ready to come up on, that he was going to go in and make the play on Lamar Jackson, and completely left his offensive player going down the field. And Lamar Jackson found him, and it was the guy who had dropped 3 different passes in the course of the game. Lamar Jackson laid the ball right to him. Great throw under pressure, 4th and 5, ended the game under 2 minutes. He came in, he did a Superman thing. He
did do a Superman thing, but I mean, there's really something to be said about a game 47-42.
There's a problem. No defense.
There's an indictment here. I'm not sure, Dan Orlovsky, this is the greatest game. Yes, it was a great individual feat, because the defense was horrific. Even with your number one Myles Garrett there, this great vaunted look, even Baker Mayfield looked great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to put all this kind of back into perspective. It's like what we were saying about the Bears.
Yeah.
Think about the fact that David Montgomery, everybody, oh, he had such a great game. It was so amazing. Oh, it was great. He didn't have a great game.
No, he didn't. He ran for 33 yards. That's what he did.
He had one pop.
One pop. Right. That was it. I mean, 3.3 yards,
Yeah.
3.3 yards. I mean, that's a good average, but I mean, maybe they didn't give him the ball enough. I mean, I don't know. Whatever the situation
was. 11 carries, I think, something like that.
11 carries.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like he was dominating. And,
no.
And the whole key to it is, I don't know if he had another. I need to look at the stats, what his second longest run was. I wasn't sure about that.
I don't think his second longest run was over 5 yards.
Yeah. So, I mean, was he stopped in the backfield a couple of times? I mean, I don't know. So,
and again, that is a function of a line, a very, very holy line. And I don't mean holy as in that they mean blessings. I mean holy like cheese. It was Swiss cheese. Yeah. That offensive line, regardless of what you want to say about Lamar Jackson, I'll say this. He has to be thankful that he has the offensive line he has. Even if they're worse, they're still better than the Bears. To allow a player to be able to rack up nearly 200 yards rushing from the QB position.
There's a couple of college team offensive lines you take right now in front of the Bears.
Granted.
You might want to put Alabama's O-line out there. But I don't know, though. I mean, some people say, Alabama could beat the worst team in the NFL, and that's absolutely not true.
We've always talked about that. We've always talked about the fact that it's good hyperbole. It's good to talk, but the reality is if you take some college students, take 11 offensively or defensively, and you put them against professionals, it's going to be a bad day for somebody.
I would say Alabama doesn't score a touchdown during the game against a pro team. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they score. I don't think they score a touchdown. They might not get past the 50-yard line against a pro team. I don't think so.
I saw LSU this past week. They fell and
did they hurt themselves?
Yeah, they hurt themselves. They hurt their property. But I'm thinking, I go back to last year with Randy Moss's son as an example, and how everybody was touting that LSU was a really great team, and they were Randy Moss's son. Even strong as he might be, he's slow, and you could tell he was slow, and he's so slow that when he got into the league, he still hasn't been able to start anywhere because he's not his dad. Now, his dad, phenom. Him?
He don't have that blazing speed. But see, this is why you got to go and see what LeVar Ball did. LeVar Ball married that 6'2" Scandinavian athlete for the main reason to give his boys the opportunity to be the athletes that they are.
Correct.
Our NFL baseball players, football players, stuff like that, they end up getting the pixies. You end up getting the little pixie dolls. You got the 6'5" guy with a 5'2" girl, and she's 105 pounds.
Right.
And then they produce kids. That's why I'm amazed in Dale Curry. You see how small Sonia Curry is? She's little. She's little. And I'm very surprised that both his boys, because Dale is taller than both his boys, isn't he? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He should be.
I think Dale's more almost 6'4", right?
6'4", yeah, somewhere in there.
And both the boys are built along the same lines as their mother. They don't have Dale's build; they have their mother's build.
But they have the athleticism from both.
Yeah, well, the mom was was a very good athlete, and so they got that quickness, that quick twitch from her because she's a volleyball player, and so they had that combination of that going on. But has she been a young woman who was not had that athletic quick twitch, you probably wouldn't see a Stephen Curry and his brother both in the league at the same time, because we don't have our athletes don't marry women 6'2" and 180 pounds. They don't marry those type of women. Now you look at some of these great ball players; their moms are big. You look at Shaq's mom. You look at LeBron's mom. These are some sturdy women, and they birthed sturdy, big, strong sons. But you look at Shaq he's going out with a girl who was 5'4". So look at Bronny James. Now Bronny's getting bigger now. You got to see him getting some size on him. I saw a picture of him the other day standing near his dad. And Bronny looks, Bronny's starting to man up and, the workouts. But Bronny's what, like 6'4" maybe now? But he really wasn't.
About 6'4". I'll say about 6'2". Who is about 6'4", 6'5" is Dwayne Wade's son.
Yeah. So, I mean, so they're getting that.
It's like his daddy.
Yeah, but our guys don't marry those big athletic girls. They don't do that. But
I would definitely marry somebody from the WNBA if I were in the NBA, because I would guarantee us at least at least our son could probably be JaVale McGee.
Why not? JaVale's going to continue to play in the league until he gets tired. Yeah. Look at Yao Ming. Yao Ming was put together with his mom and dad. They were put together. They both did. I think the dad was 6'9" or something like that, and his mom was over 6 feet. And they put them together because they wanted to create this super basketball player. So that's what ends up happening. But LeVar Ball had the right mixture. We, our athletes still, we're too busy getting a little bitty, the 120-pound chicks.
Well, I don't know. You didn't have the right mixture because LeVar Ball's son just got cut from the Pistons. So
but look at the other two. You see Melo?
Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
You see Melo? You got both your kids where they go 2 and 3 in the draft. 2 and 3 in the draft. We'll take that.
You know what? I think LiAngelo or Lyle, whatever his name is, he would be a really good tight end.
Well, see, I thought that's where he missed it too. I thought he should have went on and tried the NBA, NFL, went on and tried that and tried to be a tight end or something like that. He just didn't have the quickness his two brothers had. He just didn't have it. He's a better shooter than either one of them, but he just didn't have that athleticism that Melo and Lonzo have. He just don't have it. Right. And Melo's just nasty. You see him?
Do you? Is it just me, or does sometimes you forget which one is which? Like I forget the Lion. It's too many of them. It's LaMelo. I can't remember all of them.
Yeah, but the thing that's funny about them is that you look at when they came out of Chino Hills, you knew Lonzo had something, but you looked at LaMelo, you're like going, LaMelo ain't gonna really be. LaMelo's just gonna be this quick little kid. And all of a sudden, LaMelo's this 6'8" guy with these handles and just nasty, and it's like going, ooh, man, I would have liked to have seen LaMelo in a Bulls jersey. I was hoping for that, but I was hoping for that.
Yeah, I think it would have been good to have seen him in a Bulls jersey. I think it would have been better to have seen LeVar Jackson in a Bears jersey. I think that would have been. Yeah, it would have been the best, but he probably would be the Bears running back. And
there was a lot of teams that passed on him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. I mean, you always can look back on your life and go, man, if I would have went and asked that girl out, but then the rest of your life would have changed too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it could have changed. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes could have came here under Matt Nagy, okay, and sucked because he wasn't.
Do you really think he would have sucked?
If you're
not like Trubisky suck.
If you're not in the right system means a big deal. I mean, you think about it. I mean, it's very few guys. Look at the quarterbacks around the league. How many quarterbacks have moved around the league and still stayed productive? I mean, very productive. You don't see that often. You looked at even the Joe Montanas. When he started playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, even though he was a lot older, he wasn't the Joe Montana of the 49ers. So you look at Brett Favre when he moved around. I think when he played in Minnesota, he was a lot older guy, but he still wasn't super productive. So. Right. It makes a difference what system you're in.
You know what's going to make a difference, and we're going to do probably a show about this later, is talking about the de-evolution of Cam Newton. Because as it looks right now, it looks like Cam's at the end of his road. And is it that he's not in the right system?
No,
or is it that he's just physically unable to do it anymore?
He just beat up. I mean, he just beat up now. I mean, the foot, the shoulder. I mean, he's just a shell of himself. You know, Superman has finally hit the kryptonite. The one person that's ever been beaten is old man time.
Yeah.
You know, and old man time is going to get you every time. And too many hits, too many stuff. You know, that's it. But he's going to keep cashing checks.
Yeah, and hopefully he has his lowest lane somewhere. So we're going to just say that's going to be great.
You like that? Yeah.
All right, so Jay, we got to get ready to bounce out of here. But before we go, you know you have to leave the people with something hot. So leave the people with something hot.
Look, man, if you ever lose your remote and somehow or another you try to change the channels, but with the menu bar up underneath the TV,
mm-hmm.
If you ain't never did it before, you got problems. You got problems. I'm telling you, my remote got lost. And somehow or another, I ended up on the Japanese news channel. I'm not sure how I got there, but they were speaking in Japanese, and I sat down and watched it because I couldn't get nothing else.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
All right. So with that said, let me say this. If you cannot find your remote and you're watching the Chinese or the Japanese news channel, you can always find Iron Skillet Sports. All you have to do is look for @IronSkilletSports. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even Facebook Messenger. You can find us, the Sizzle Talk group. We're there. We're there for you. We are on every platform. Wherever you go to find your podcast, we're there also. Stitcher, iTunes, Google, Spotify,
Everywhere.
Anchor. We're everywhere. Everywhere you want to be, we are there. So make sure that when you go on YouTube that you find the Sizzle. Just look for Iron Skillet Sports. Yeah. Find the Sizzle, push the button, and say, hey, I want to like this. That's the thumbs up. And then I want to subscribe to this. Then you push that button, and then you say, you know what? This was so great. Because this is a season of giving, I'm going to share this with a family member. And you share it with them for free, and that way you don't have to buy them a gift. You've already given them the gift of the Sizzle.
Yeah, all you got to do is just go to your TV, bring up YouTube, and punch on the Sizzle and subscribe and go, here you go, honey. This is my gift for you. These two guys right here.
Do you know how excited she will be? Yeah. She will be so excited that you gave her the Sizzle that she might give you some Sizzle. That's my hot tick for the day.
Yeah, if you believe that, I got a lakefront property for you in Nebraska.
That's all right. I tell you what. Hey, big shout out to Eddie Jackson. My man, I saw your mansion in the paper, my friend.
Oh, wow.
Woo, that kind of paper, baby. I salute you. I salute you. Mm-hmm. And I want to come over for a barbecue. So if you see G&J Sizzle in your backyard, you already know.
Have barbecue will travel, my friend.
We will be there. So listen, it's time for us to get out of here. And remember, you're listening to The Sizzle, the best talk and the hottest talk in the 219. We are The Sizzle. We are the talk of the 219. And we will see you on the other side.